आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही। आप हाँ हाँ
आपको वो म्यूट था, सॉरी।
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल, आपका भी स्वागत है। डॉक्टर कल्पना भी जामनगर से जुड़ी हैं।
अच्छा अच्छा जी जी।
तो शुरू करते हैं सर हम। चौधरी जी सर स्टार्ट करें।
Yeah, I am fine. No issue.
अच्छा सर हाँ। तो once again all of you are welcome in our online lecture series being organized in collaboration with IIT and Jodhpur and Center for Human Resource Development, Dr. Sarpalli Radhakrishnan, Rajasthan Ayurved University. Center for Human Resource Development is the vision of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. It was established in 2020. And since then, we have organized more than 100 lectures under the ambit of this center. And we have been regularly organized since we have seen that last 2 and 3 years have been very crucial due to Corona infection pandemic. And in such conditions, we couldn't have offline lectures regularly. And the Vice Chancellor, sir, was really worried about the dissemination of knowledge among the students. That's why he preferred that we should go ahead and move in the way of organizing online lectures for the students. That's so that their knowledge should be in a regular mode. The knowledge of upgradation should be in regular mode. And in that concern, we have been organizing the lectures regularly, and we are very thankful to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and our Director, sir, IIT Jodhpur, that they have agreed upon to carry forward with a joint venture of this online lecture series. And so far, we have organized 3 lectures in this series. One from Professor Mitali Mukherjee ji, another one was Professor Ajay Agarwal ji, and Professor Ravi Bankala ji. And today we are here today with Professor Manoj Choudhary ji, and he will be delivering his today's lecture on emerging technology trends. This lecture series is on based on technology-based evidences for Ayurved solutions in precision health. So, looking forward to this title of lecture series, we are finding out that how the technology interventions can be seen in the field of Ayurved science. And in this regard, already Ayurved University and IIT Jodhpur has signed an MOU, and we are working together. And we have, I think, soon the Excellence Center in IUTech Excellence Center with the support of Ministry of Ayush, New Delhi, is being established in IIT Jodhpur, and the faculty from IIT and Ayurved University Jodhpur will collaboratively be working together and finding out something in the field of technological intervention Ayurved. And today I welcome Professor Manoj Choudhary ji, and before starting his lecture, I would like to welcome all the guests who are here across India, from different colleges, from different states, from different areas. I do welcome them with wholeheartedly that they have spared some time and shown their interest in joining this lecture. Before I start the lecture of Professor Manoj Choudhary ji, I would like to give his brief bio sketch. Professor Manoj Choudhary is Professor Department of Electrical Engineering and Dean International Relations, Alumni Relations and Corporate Relations in Indian Institute of Technology, that is IIT Jodhpur. Professor Choudhary has done PhD from IIT Kanpur in Communication Systems. He has had a very vast experience in the industry as a top technologist and business leader, having worked with top electronics and semiconductor companies such as Samsung and Texas Instruments. He was the senior director and head of the system LSI R&D, that is semiconductor chip business, and Samsung India R&D Center. Bangalore. In this role for 5 years, he led the business unit and grew the team 5 times to approximately 1,200 R&D engineers working in the SoC, that is system on chip design and development, along with software for various market segments, including wireless modem, that is 5G or 4G, connectivity, automotive, camera image sensors, and power management ICs. During 2014 to 2016, within Samsung, he was the director of digital media and communication, leading 5G communication and IoT, that is Internet of Things, R&D, along with new standards development. During 2010 to 2014, he led SAIT, Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology India, which is Samsung's corporate technology research lab. Between 2002 to 2006, he set up the next generation wireless research group and intellectual property group at Samsung. His research led to standardization of emerging wireless technologies such as ultra-wideband and 3G WLAN working in IEEE and 3GPP. He has been one of the authors of ultra-wideband MAC specification at the Y-Media Alliance and also served as worldwide co-chair of the Technical Steering Committee. During 2006 to 2010, he worked with Texas Instruments India as development unit manager of wireless modern software development for mobile handsets. Very well recognized internationally and at a national level, Professor Manoj is credited with building a strong research team for wireless standards and intellectual property mission at Samsung way back in 2002. Thereby setting foundations for its success as a top innovative and technology multinational company in India. He has been co-author of 6 IEEE/ECMA standards. He has won many awards such as University Gold Medal, Young Achiever Award, Patent of the Year Award, to name a few. Dr. Manoj has delivered numerous papers, talks, and tutorials in national, international conferences and in the industry forums, that is FICCI, ISA, NASCOM, etc. He has more than 30 granted patents in US, Korea, European Union, and India. Dr. Manoj is co-author of the book Ultra Wideband Demystified Technologies, Applications, and System Design Considerations, published by River Publishers, Denmark. Currently, he is a member of 6G Task Force, Department of Telecom, Government of India, and also a member of the Management Council of the Semiconductor Laboratory, SCL, Ministry of Electronics and IT. And since we see that Professor Choudhary ji is working in the task force of 6G, we know very well that so far we are running in the 4G area and 5G is being installed very soon now. And the issue has been taken up for the progress in the sector of 6G. And Professor Manoj Choudhary ji is the part of that team. I congratulate him. And hopefully this overall voice sketch itself shows that how much experience, how much learned, how much knowledgeable and he would have, he is, and how this lecture is going to be very much fruitful and knowledgeable for the audience. I request Professor Manoj Choudhary ji that please come forward and let us know about his experience. Thank you very much. Share with your experience, please, sir.
Thank you so much for a very generous introduction. And as has been mentioned and introduced, I am not from a medical field. Perhaps unlike other people who have so far spoken, I am more from technology field, and I would speak about what technology is doing to help the healthcare and the medical sector. So my focus will be on the latest technology trends that are relevant and useful for the healthcare sector. So with your permission, I would like to share my slides now.
Sure, please, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir, visible, sir. Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Are you able to see on the full screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you for inviting me to speak in this forum. And as I mentioned, I will focus my talk on emerging technology trend, particularly talk about their relevance to the healthcare sector. I know we are working on you are working on technological interventions in Ayurveda for precision health. IIT Jodhpur and Ayurved University already have a collaborative project, and we are all part of that. So in this talk, for the next 45 minutes or so, I will focus on the goal of this talk is we will look together at the key technological trends that are set to impact the humanity in a big way and further deliberate their impact on the healthcare systems and services, pharmaceutical and medical products. I assume that this covers a very wide range of everything that that medical practitioners, whether in Ayurveda or modern medicines, want to look at, because the ultimate goal for each of us to serve the humanity and to encourage discussions on how collaboration amongst medical fraternity and technological community, which I represent, how these collaborations that we are doing can be a game changer. At any point of time, please feel free to ask a question. I know some of the technological stuff may be heavy on you, but I will try to speak in a very simple language because my focus is not to teach you technology. My focus is to tell how those technological advances will help the healthcare sector and how healthcare sector working with the technology sector can actually do significant value differentiation to the humanity. I move next. So the key topic that all of you have been working is on precision health or precision medicine. I want to talk about the trends that are making it possible. So precision medicine is a very novel approach to the treatment and prevention of diseases that utilizes not only whatever patient is telling in terms of symptoms or so on, but utilizing patient's full medical profile, including genetic data, medical history, environmental factors, lifestyle factors. Using all of this, precision medicine aims to create a customized and unique treatment and prevention protocol for every patient. Now, if that is the goal, I know all of you are in Ayurveda and you utilize Ayurveda to do that. So irrespective of the mechanism that we use, in terms of precision medicine, we need to utilize many of these factors rather than only looking at the symptoms coming from a patient. Four key trends that are making precision medicine possible are, firstly, the decision support systems that harness the power of human genome. So currently there are a lot of discussions, as Rakesh mentioned, happening between IIT and Ayurved University, talking about Ayurgenomics, how genomics can utilize the or help the principles of Ayurveda to create powerful medical solutions. So that is one aspect. Second is on healthcare leveraging big data analytics and machine learning. Means these days we deploy and develop a large number of sensors. For example, sensors that sense smell, sensors that check the taste, sensors that are utilized in almost every significant parameter of human health. So these sensors generate a lot of data. How that data can be analyzed using many of the newer principles of machine learning. Machine learning means how computer machines learn in the similar fashion that human learns from past experiences. So that is an important trend on how precision medicine can be developed to provide a customized and unique experience for each of the patient. Third is pay-per-use philosophy in terms of reimbursement methods world over in incentivizing health systems to keep patients well. So instead of making a very generic payment system, these days healthcare sector is also moving significantly towards pay-per-use facility or a service model for the medical services rendered. Fourth is the emerging tools that enable more data coming from different types of sensors. If the sensor types are different, how an interoperability between different sensors can be built. So if one has to look at precision medicine, these are the four key trends that make it possible. Of course, a deep knowledge in the medical area, in the Ayurveda that each one of you in the Ayurveda universities have is very, very important. But in order to render it in a customized and unique manner to the patients. These four key technological trends are the ones that enable precision medicine. To talk some more details about this, for example, first thing we talked about is decision support methods that harness the power of human genome. So precision medicine uses this genomic information in addition to medical histories and patients' self-reported experiences to determine the best care for each individual, because genomes carry a unique identity about each of the patient, and should there be a genomic variation in the patient, one can utilize that to create individual treatment plan for the specific patients. Second aspect is on big data analytics and machine learning. So in precision medicine, researchers and clinicians find analytical tools. They need analytical tools like machine learning, several parts of artificial intelligence tools. What the tools do is that if there is a tremendous amount of data coming from various sensors, various genomes and so on, basically how do you take that data and create an insight? How do you analyze the data automatically to summarize what is the real issue behind all the data? So these machine learning tools and artificial intelligence actually help to find out the real issue behind the tremendous data that is generated by whether through human genome or through different sensors that are sensing the data, or through many of the parameters that are listed by the individual patient. Further, in terms of reimbursement method, the world over, and I think India is also slowly shifting with the newer schemes that are getting launched in terms of insurance scheme, RGHS and whatnot. So there is a shift in reimbursement incentives to the health system so that health systems can take the type of actions to create data precision medicine required. So that means if there is a specialized treatment for a specialized illness, then the payment method or the reimbursement method from the insurance companies to the healthcare providers actually depends, and they are also very, very targeted in nature. Fourth part that is an emerging is that there are emerging tools that are enabling more data, more interoperability. So there are precision medicine which has to focus on individual treatments for individual illnesses, specific illnesses. They need more methods to get the data. Some researchers are proposing using newer methods like that is coming in newspapers like blockchain, which is more a financial security, is a kind of a security mechanism, a trust architecture. They are proposing how to use blockchain to pay patients for the clinical data, the data that is generated, how do we create Internet of Things scenario or a genomic data. With this as a background, I now move forward to talk about what is needed for precision medicine to go ahead. According to me, instead of trying to do everything by our own, every industry should learn from what others have so far done. If precision medicine, for example, try to look at a manufacturing industry, what manufacturing industry has done is, whether it is developing semiconductor chips or developing cars, the success of the global manufacturer always rely on their ability to create products which are of consistent quality and low cost. Therefore, standardization of approach that manufacturing industry has created, if we are able to incorporate these practices into precision medicine, we will be able to offer the services to our patients at a consistent quality as well as low cost. If we look at retail industry, like shopping malls, like various retail segments, one can look at the success of the retail world can teach healthcare important lessons about the insights that can be gleaned from market segmentation. So instead of breaking the market into smaller parts, one can actually harness the market. For example, by understanding what is the variability between the patients, one can create treatment strategies that account for unique needs and preferences. Therefore, retail segment caters and teaches us about personalization that allows us, that helps us to create unique and individual treatment plan for individual patients having specific illnesses. Thirdly, if we look at the industries like banking, transportation or hospitalization, for example, hospitality, I should use the word, not hospitalization, hospitality like hotels and so on. Basically, they rely a lot on digitalization these days, like Uber or Airbnb. So while healthcare sector has been slow to explore a service focused technology, but consumers basically are waiting for this kind of ease, choice and flexibility that these digital tools offer. Therefore, here in this slide, I am trying to tell that irrespective of the technology, irrespective of the medical solutions that you are researching on, if we are able to utilize the learning from different industries in terms of how personalization can be done, how digitalization can be done, how standardization can be done, then we can offer this precision medicine or precision health as a medical service to our patients at a consistent quality, at an affordable cost, and to the individual needs of the patient. That is the key message I want to have from this slide. Now I move to the top technology trends. As I mentioned, I am a technologist. So my goal here will be to talk about the new technologies that are coming in the world. But more importantly, instead of trying to explain what those technologies are, my goal is to tell how the healthcare sector will be significantly impacted because of the new technologies that are coming, and how healthcare sector can work with the new technologies and new technologists like from IITs in order to create a very unique, different and much more significant experience to its customers, which is patients and the healthcare sector. So in this diagram, which is whose source is McKinsey, a consultancy company, what we are trying to show here is we are trying to list down few technologies that are important technology trend going forward, and we are on x-axis, on this axis we are trying to write down what is the interest amongst the world for this kind of technology. For example, if you see future of clean energy, world over every person is worried about how to have clean energy sources going ahead. World is worried about future of sustainable consumption, how it happens. If you look at what is the innovation that is happening right now, most of the innovation, bigger the size of this circle, you can assume that that is the bigger the size of the innovation. So most of the innovation these days is happening or focused in the world in terms of investment by leading companies, in terms of research papers that are coming out, in terms of the patents that are coming out, in terms of the Google searches that people are doing all over the world to find out about these new technologies, in terms of news publications. So if you look at all of this, it looks like applied AI, that is applications of artificial intelligence, currently has the highest focus all over the world in terms of its innovation potential, in terms of the investment, in terms of how it can impact variety of sectors. We will talk about variety of sectors next. For example, industrializing machine learning is another important area. Future of bioengineering is another important area. Immersive reality technologies is another important area that is happening. Trust architectures play a very important role. Trust and digital identity play a very important role, particularly in the health sector, because many of the medical systems, if we are trying to digitalize, we need to ensure these trust architectures and privacy issues are handled well, because medical records are very specific to individuals, and we have to make sure that there are trusted architectures and digital identities built, which allows one to render medical services to individuals, but also handle the privacy issues well. So again, my goal is to not teach this forum about what are these technologies. I will have a slide for each of them. I will briefly talk about what that technology's future is, but more importantly, I will talk immediately after that I introduce the technology, what is its relevance to the healthcare sector. For example, these are all the trends that I have listed here. Silicon age means the technologies that can be put in a silicon chip, semiconductor chip. Engineering tomorrow is the newer engineering disciplines like future of bioengineering, future of clean energy, future of space technology, and so on. So each of this technology, only whichever is more relevant to healthcare sector is what I will speak for today. these all technologies that we talked about, they have an impact on the entire humanity. In the world, there are so many industries. This slide shows the key application area of different industry segments like aerospace, defense, agriculture, automotive, education, electric power, consumers, construction, media, public social sector, so on. Out of all these different application area, in my current presentation for today, I will focus only on healthcare systems and services and pharmaceuticals and medical products. I believe that this is of interest to the audience today. So all these new technologies that are coming, I will talk about their relevance and impact on the healthcare systems and pharmaceuticals medical products, so that when you develop newer medical systems, and in IITs we develop newer technologies, how can we collaborate well together to create a very unique advanced medical systems and services that can be given to the patients all over the world. Therefore, in this slide, out of so many technology trends, I have tried to list down which technology trend has a high relevance. For example, in healthcare systems and services and pharmaceuticals, industrialization of machine learning. As we also talked in the beginning, precision health relies a lot on this technology trend. So the relevance is very, very high. Relevance is very high for trust architectures and digital identities, for making sure that data privacy is maintained. Future of bioengineering. How the bioengineering world is evolving has a significantly high relevance on healthcare systems and medical products. Similarly, advanced connectivity has a high relevance. Immersive reality technologies have a very high relevance on healthcare as well as medical products and pharmaceutical industries. Let us talk briefly about what that means in terms of what is the real relevance. Firstly, very simply, I talk about advanced connectivity. Connectivity means today you have a phone, as Rakesh ji mentioned in the beginning, that phone is running a 4G systems today. Very soon we have 5G technology or 6G technologies. So we are also in our home having a Wi-Fi router. So we have a Wi-Fi technology already we are using. The next generation of Wi-Fi is coming. Many of our homes and institutes also have a physical wire connection, whether it's optical fiber or a physical wire connection. So there are many ways to have a connectivity. Connectivity means how different computer systems, how different human beings are connected. How we also have connectivity provided by many of the satellite, low Earth orbit satellite that are providing connectivity services. So what connectivity services are doing for the healthcare sector in terms of relevance is connectivity services, these enhanced connectivity services, when 5G is coming or 6G is coming or next Wi-Fi is coming, what they are trying to do is that they are basically an infrastructure. They are an enabler service. When we say enabler service, what it means is that they enable some services. So in medical and healthcare space, for example, if you want to monitor patients at home in real time, so how you will like to do? You will basically put lot of sensors around that patient at home, and you would like the data that is coming out of those sensors be communicated as fast as possible to some central place where you can see what is happening to the patient based on the data that is coming from a sensor. So what we need is, we need a large number of sensors. We need a high density of such connected devices and sensors, and we need networks that have low latency. Low latency means the time the data is generated to the time it is communicated from one place to other has to be as small as possible. As we are trying to move more into telemedicine or robotic surgery, this kind of a low latency, that is a smaller time required to connect and control and communicate, becomes very, very important. Therefore, these advances in connectivity are very, very crucial as the medical systems over the world evolve in future. If medical systems have to enable monitoring patients in real time, then advances in connectivity is necessary. Therefore, connectivity will be a major boon in treatment of chronic diseases such as AI-powered diagnostics, can be done using data from patients while they are monitored at home using connected medical devices. This will improve patient access to healthcare while improving overall digitization of healthcare services. Current users also see their experience significantly improved because network speeds and latency improve significantly. Therefore, IIT Jodhpur, if it is a strong player in the advanced connectivity space, then many of the sensors that you are developing as part of the Ayurved project or in Ayurveda, if we are able to take that data and communicate that data to where it is needed the most, very reliably, very fast, and amongst many sensors, how the data can be transmitted fast, it really helps the medical fraternity to go forward. Next is on applied AI. What is AI? AI is artificial intelligence, means computer systems try to be as intelligent as humans by trying to think the way humans think. Humans can not only see, observe, but also they think and they can relate. Many of the situations are happening as they are happening, and humans have an ability to look at multitude of data and immediately have an insight on what is happening. In AI, the significant progress is now happening that can classify, predict, and control different kind of applications to automate and augment the real world use cases. So newer AI techniques are getting adopted in many areas. These areas basically have many applications, healthcare being one of the important applications for that. So some of the important AI applications are how machines learn, how different objects can be detected using computer vision, how natural language processing can happen. For example, if I am speaking in English and if there are patients which only understand Hindi, right? How you can have computer systems that can do this natural language processing to accurately translate what is being talked about in English to accurately in Hindi what that means. So there are many methods that are happening in AI which are useful for healthcare sectors. Let us talk what are those methods. There are 3 or 4 methods that are listed in this slide. Once again, my goal is not to teach you technology, but to tell you that there are many areas like machine learning that uses many methods to learn from the data. If sensors are generating data, machine learning tries many statistical methods to understand what is the meaning of that data. Computer vision allows you to extract complex information and allows you to have an interpretation of what the data is. NLP, natural language processing, I already talked about, is understanding language-based data and many of these things. Now, how it is useful in healthcare sector? It is useful in Relevance is it enhances the healthcare services through functions like automated pathology recognition and diagnosis decision support system. So in diagnosis, you collect many parameters through many tests. When you have that kind of a pathology recognition automated basis, also diagnosis, which is based on several of these tests, you are able to more accurately understand based on the data that has come in terms of what the real disease is or what the complications can be. In this context, there is one concept in AI which is called explainability. It is very important. That is, AI should not only try to understand from data, it should also be able to explain how things are, for example, being put together. And if you are getting some result from an AI model, then what that result means, what are the limitations of that model, and so on. Therefore, the situations are also very important. AI currently is advancing into this space where it is becoming more explainable, and therefore it will definitely and significantly help the healthcare sector in many of these aspects. Next part I want to talk about, you have all heard the word called cloud computing and edge computing. What that means is that if sensors generate data, then where the intelligence should lie. Our goal always is, if sensors are generating data, if intelligence can be very close to where data is generated, then it takes lesser time to take action based upon what the data is having intelligence. What is the intelligence covered in the data? The time taken is much smaller if intelligence decision can be taken from the source of the data. Therefore, in the world over, there are significant trend that instead of cloud, we all use Google Drive, OneDrive. These are examples of our data being on the cloud. What that means in simple language, sir, is that our data which we have in the phone is sent to some central repository over the cloud. So it is stored there. So there is a cost of transmitting the data. There is a cost of storing the data on the cloud server. Therefore, it takes time for data to go from our device to the cloud. Whenever we need the data, it again takes time. It again takes connectivity mechanisms. The world is moving towards the edge computing, means there are improvements in most digital use cases like remote diagnostics, active drug tracking, fitness trackers that we are putting, for example, in our if we are having watches or fitness trackers in our hand, if there is, and they are tracking our heartbeat or anything that goes irregular, should there be any irregularity, we want our watch to immediately alert us instead of that data going to the cloud, somebody understanding it, interpreting the data in the cloud, and then giving an information back to our watch and that watch alerting us. So world in technology trend, whenever you hear about this word edge computing, please understand that edge computing means taking the intelligence to the device which is generating the data. So if we are having sensors on human body, then we want the intelligence, that is, if there is any irregularity in heartbeat, we want that device to immediately intimate rather than that data going elsewhere and result coming from there. Further, so again, I will not explain that much in terms. Then there is another technology called immersive technology. Immersive technologies, you have heard this word called augmented reality, virtual reality. What that means is that we are trying to integrate the virtual world with the real world with this. And there are many modes of doing that. Mixed reality, augmented reality, virtual reality. So what we are trying to do, for example, is that through many of these systems, a human being, for example, is in a pain. How do you simulate that environment and how do you access that human being is a pain? Actually, you are able to get that kind of information using this augmented reality and virtual reality. So healthcare systems and services like surgical assistance can be provided through augmented reality. Telemedicine is a great example of augmented reality and this kind of services where mental health, pain management, imaging, pathology, many models that can be done. So these immersive reality technologies and solutions are getting more and more deployed in treating mental disorders because you are able to simulate what the real world and what the virtual world, you are able to simulate through that virtual world how a person is dealing with or being treated with mental disorders and how that person is reacting to that, to the treatment that you are giving. Okay, so next is in terms of immersive technologies. Now I talked about the many of the examples. So on-body sensors, for example, if there are on-body sensors, which are the tools to track and identify users and the objects around them. To 1 second, hold on, please. Hello, Dars. I am in a external talk. I'll call you at 12:30. Thank you. Sorry about that. So on-body sensors, basically these sensors are tied around the users and objects around them. They accurately reflect, for example, limb movement or physical objects around them. So in the immersive technologies, you are able to sense how that patient is reacting to these kind of sensors and reacting to this kind of a data. Therefore, like haptic device, gloves or vest that patients will wear, they convey the sense of touch to the user with vibrations to augment the virtual experiences. Therefore, many of these technologies are increasingly getting used in the medical and healthcare space. Very important part is on machine learning. In machine learning, what we do is that whenever there is a lot of data produced by a lot of sensors, we collect that data and we process that using some of the models that we are developing to train the data. We train this, we call this training model, so that we can find out what the data means in terms of in terms of, so we can do this either in software. There are a lot of software methods for this. There are many hardware solutions that are currently existing for machine learning. Again, my goal is not to teach you the hardware and software here, but I want to talk the relevance of this for healthcare segment. In healthcare segment, particularly for pharmaceuticals and medical products, machine learning is significantly helping in the development of new drugs, that is through exploring the relationships between molecules and chemical compounds through many of the data that is generated in these machine learning models, and enabling the support functions such as smart manufacturing, supply chain optimizations for various medical treatments. For example, using machine learning models that I talked about, a typical global pharma company is able to utilize many of the software hardware that we talked about, and the impact because of this technology is that if it is pharma companies bringing a new drug to the market, the time to market typically can reduce from 4 months to 1 month because of the significant amount of data insight given by machine learning through the software code, code compatibility check from 2 weeks to 2 hours, and setting up the entire technology in order to do it can be done in 15 minutes. Therefore, machine learning has a great advantage in healthcare segment and precision health segment, as we mentioned in the beginning of the call. Next generation software development. You have heard that India is a software powerhouse. There are significant number of software companies in India. This software development in its next generation is significantly helping the healthcare sector by the new and advanced software development, which will have code which is a very small code, because low code or no code, because graphical user interface that we are developing, most of the platforms are based on that. So non-developers like medical fraternity can use these graphical user interfaces to build in the newer applications. We are also offering infrastructure as a code. So the goal is that the people who are not software developers, but people who are domain experts like in healthcare sector and so on, how they can utilize this software, the newer software, to deliver service to the medical patients and the healthcare users as fast as possible. So in this, the relevance in the healthcare system is that this software allows case management processes for handling the customer data. When you have a customer as a medical patient, it allows you tailored and specific process for high risk patient. It allows one to develop and test new drugs. So this all can be done using the newer softwares that are getting developed. And as I mentioned, the newer software means the software which has a very low amount of code, or software which has lot of graphical user interface, that even non-software people like people in medical domain or medical doctors who are not well versed with software development, they can utilize this tool to make the medical systems and processes much stronger, because medical world is one that involves significant amount of compliance whenever a new data is released, new drug is released, or a new diagnosis tool comes, or a new equipment comes. So this kind of compliance requires a wide variety of frameworks, protocols and regulations, which vary by different regions, license agreement. So this kind of a thing is enabled by the software which is currently getting deployed. India is a software powerhouse, and I strongly believe that this software strength in India can also significantly co-work with medical, which is a strong field in India, to create a very unique value proposition from India. Maybe I am coming towards the end of my slides quickly. Trust architecture, I think it is a very important thing. Trust architecture is very important because whatever data we enter into our systems, whatever data is generated from the sensors, we need to make sure that access to that data is managed, the devices that we deploy are protected, and there is a network security and encryption which allows continuous monitoring. So in medical world particularly, just like in a financial world, many of the computer architectures these days need to be deployed and being developed, which basically rely on ensuring that this is a zero trust architecture. That means we trust only if there is a real authentication provided by the other party. So we are making these security systems very strong, along with the digital identities for each of the persons, so that there cannot be any fooling around. One cannot mistake one from the other by having distinguishing and having many of the privacy related parameters. So in particular for healthcare systems, it is relevant because there is a value created by privacy engineering that balances protection of sensitive healthcare data along with the development of new uses of this data. Many a times also we had discussed earlier, when for our experiments we look upon data, we want to gather more data from our patients, we get some kind of a privacy agreements with them signed, we collect the data, but we want to make sure that data does not fall into wrong hands. And therefore, these kind of technological systems and architectures ensure that as medical service providers or as medical system developers, our hospitals, our universities like Ayurved University ensure that the data that we are having is secure, the data that we are having is private, and it allows only a secure access to the patient medical records and allows advanced developments of AI models for healthcare diagnostics, drug design and treatment due to greater understanding from explainable AI architectures that we discussed. Maybe in the interest of time, I will skip some of the Web3. This is the newer kind of web infrastructure that is happening that basically will allow for more digital assets like cryptocurrencies, governance tokens, and also for smart contracts that can be done in digital world, also for blockchain that is a digitally distributed, decentralized data ledger that can exist across a network of computers. This blockchain is also getting more and more useful, not only in financial sector, but also in the healthcare sector. This is your field, the future of bioengineering. There are a great significance work that is happening here, right from the cellular world, cellular level to the complex living systems. Future of bioengineering clearly reflects the convergence of biological systems and information technologies that is transforming business and societies. It is defined by 4 clear areas: biomolecules, which includes mapping and engineering intracellular molecules related to study of genomics and proteomics; biosystems, that is mapping and engineering complex biological organizations and processes and their interactions; biocomputing is like connecting the nervous systems of living organisms to the machines and also making machines look like and we compute like how our nervous systems work, what is called as biocomputing, that is neurocomputing, that is using cells and cellular components for computation of information like storing, retrieving, processing data. The impact of bioengineering is very significant, of course, on healthcare systems, pharmaceuticals and medical products across all areas of omics, tissue engineering, biomaterials, by creating benefits, treating previously uncurable diseases, allowing temporary alternatives to the gene therapy, allowing combining attributes of different kind of, for example, treatments or kind of a food compositions, allowing cost-effective materials with minimum production disruption, allowing sustainability for a long time to come, and so on. So these are some of the examples and the expected outcomes that are getting used from bioengineering related to novel cancer treatment or aging protection or health risk. Each of these basically are done health risk. These are the risks that are coming out of this kind of systems. These are a result of the marriage between technology world and that of the medical world. So in summary, so far, we started with precision health. What are the key technology trends that are needed for precision health, and how evolving technology trend has a great relevance to healthcare sectors. Precision health and precision medicine relies heavily on these emerging trends to make the new headways, to make the new innovation, to make the new product. And therefore, synergy and collaboration is a must in the evolving world order. We have already set up very good collaboration between Ayurved University and IIT Jodhpur, which has existing collaborations, which are very timely, which are quite robust, and we need to exchange ideas more quickly so that technological interventions, as Dr. Rakeshji mentioned in the beginning as the title of this series, technological interventions can be quickly brought from the technological world like IITs to the medical world like Ayurved University, so that we create the medical system for future. This is something all that I wanted to present. If there is any question, I'll be very glad to answer.
So nice, sir. It was a very wonderful lecture. Thank you for sharing all of your experience with our audience. I think everybody would have enjoyed this lecture, as this is quite an innovative one from our side of our point of view, our side of view, and I think many of us are very much interested to know about all these things. I request the audience, if they do have any query, they can pose their query before our learning speaker, if they are having any query. I think they must be learning these things, and if no doubt, nothing to worry. If you are having some queries, we can ask later on also. If you want to ask right now, you can ask. Dr. Hemendra, are you interested to have any query? Dr. Hemendra? Okay. Any query from any side? Okay. Okay. If you would be having any query, you can call later on also. You can mail me your queries, and we can send these queries to our webinar speaker, and we can have the answers later on as well. So in the end, Dr. Hari Singhal, if you are there, please. Okay, I think he's not there. He is our co-coordinator of this program. Actually, he's busy with his. Actually, BC sir is retiring on 12th September, and he's busy with the you can say the valedictory formalities. And so, in the end, as an acknowledgement, vote of thanks. I am sharing my vote of thanks. Sir, this has been a very fruitful lecture, because so many things we have learned from your lecture, because I think this is quite a new field for all of us, and we are learning so many things. And many of the things, in many of the words we have come to know since we have come in contact with you. Many of things, as IoT, I was just wondering what is IoT, Internet of Things, and so many things we learned during our company with you. And this innovation, this knowledge and expansion is day by day growing as soon as our relationship is going ahead. And today you have given us a new window in terms of emerging technology trends. No doubt we listen to many times the AI advancements, telemedicine, or the use of technology, use of AI in understanding the diagnostic reports, to preparing the research projects, preparing the health related surveys. So all these things are day by day growing up. Recently, we are working with you in terms of identifying the diseases on the basis of a sensor. We are identifying the prakriti of a human being, individuals, by the help of sensors. And this is a process we are moving ahead. No doubt, these are very different things we in our fraternity do come to know. But as soon as the time will move ahead, we will be very oriented with all these things. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Sorry. Thank you very much, sir. Today with us, I would like to convey my deep hearted thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. He was also present in the lecture. I am very much thankful to him that he has given us the vision to organize such type of lectures by establishing this Center of Human Resource Development. And hopefully we would be organizing the lectures regularly in different streams of medical science. I would like to thank Professor Kalpana Arje from Jamnagar, Dr. Nidhi Srivastava from Jodhpur, Dr. Sarita Jain from Udaipur, Dr. Choudhary from Maharashtra, Dr. Arif Khan from Bareilly, Dr. Alek Mohanty from Bolangir, Odisha, Dr. Ankita from Patiala, Professor S.S. Gupta from Patna, Dr. Anup Singh from Surat, and the faculty from our institution, Dr. Prem Prakash Vyas from Pediatrics Department, Dr. Dinesh Raji from Pediatrics Department, Dr. Rajesh Gupta from Surgery Department, and Dr. Dinesh Sharma from Physiology Department, and many more, Dr. Professor Mahesh Sharma ji, Pawan Shukla ji, and all the faculty from university and as well from the IIT. And especially, I would like to thank all the PG scholars who were present during the lecture. They have given their valuable time, and hopefully they would have learned so many things today, because this is the lecture which the next generation must move ahead, because whatever the future lies ahead, they have to abide by that, and they have to understand the things accordingly. So this way, this emerging trends technology would have been very much beneficial for the PG students. Thank you very much across for them all joining from across India. And in the end, I would like to acknowledge my thanks to the IT team, because this whole procedure has not been possible without their support. Thanks a lot to the team, Dr. Hari Singhal and their team. And once again, thanks a lot to everybody present here. And in the end, I would like to especially thank Professor Manoj Choudhary, that he has spared his valuable time. He remains very busy because he has to deal with the alumni affairs, because the corporate affairs and the other international affairs. So regularly he has to be busy with the assignments and regularly meetings on there in their campus. But even then he spared a lot of time, his valuable time. And once again, I am very much thankful to him. And hopefully whenever we will call him next time in the lecture, he will be here with us. Once again, thank you, everybody in this lecture present. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. It was great talking to all of you. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, sir. With this, we come to end this lecture, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Thank you.